Okay, here we are live at 5. Today is Wednesday, and it is time for the Queen Mother Speaks show. Brrrr. Greetings to you, and greetings to you, and welcome to Wonderful Wednesday on the Queen Mother Speaks show. We'd like to take a moment again and thank our co-host Nana. She's not in the studio at the moment, but she is looking to come in. But we want to thank her for the entire month of August, where she gave us a great rundown on the Underground Railroad. Yes, we did. She did a great job, and we're looking forward to having Nana host the show again and again and again. So we just started a new season, and the theme is If Not You, Who? And if not now, when?
When?
The time is now. And this famous quote is meant to inspire you, me, and others like us to take action and don't wait for somebody else to step in. It's up to you to step up to the plate. The time is now. I want you to take stock on all the things that you're waiting for. Let me just take a moment and greet our guests who tuning into the Queen Mother Speak show. Let us know who you are and where you are by putting your name and information in the chat. Now, Queen Mother invites you to really think about what you will do over this next 3 months of 2022 before we enter into a new year. What steps can you take to do something and to make something happen in your life? That's the message. That's what it is. That is the message. Okay, I want to say to you right now, rise up, ye mighty nation of men and women. Hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the comment button. Let us know who you are and where you are. We give a shout out right now to all of our viewers who's tuning into Queen Mother Speaks. We have the Honorable Margaret Tolley tuning in, Rose Amwara, Maurice Obuya, all from Kenya, Dr. Willie Butler from Louisiana, Brother Chess and Raymond Sussman from New York City. Nana's not here to tell us who's in the studio today, but let me give you an idea of who is here. This is who's in studio today. Now, we are expecting two guests. Would you like to say hello to the listening audience?
Hello, listening audience. Thank you for tuning in. We hope to please you with our show and our information today. I hope you will comment and let us know how much you liked it. But back to Queen Mother, and I will talk to you later.
Very good, very good, very good. So we are expecting another guest in the studio today, as well as we're expecting our co-host Nana to show up. Okay, if this is your first time tuning into Queen Mother Speaks, we'd like to thank you for doing that because I know that there's so many other things that you could be doing. So if you've chosen this moment to be with us, we thank you for that, and we consider that very, very special. We want you to know that on the Queen Mother Speak show, we bring in men, we bring in women who have very exciting projects that's doing great things across the board and across the globe. So tune in to see who they are and what they're doing. And we also bring you special edition shows when other things are going on. But I'm not going to let the rabbit out of the hat just yet. There's some new things going on that we'll be telling you about later. We ask you to definitely go to our page, tell us who you are, where you're tuning in from, and give us a comment, okay? We're pleased for all of the guests who are in the house today and for the guest who's going to be showing up a little later. We want to give a shout out and blessings to all of our people who are born in the month of October. In fact, today is my niece's Kaya's birthday. Happy birthday, darling. Happy Earth Day to you. And Queen Mother, wish you so many, many, many more. And blessings, blessings, blessings to you. We also extend a thank you to our guests who were in the studio last week. That would be Miss Genetrix of the Police Welfare Association and Nellie Tanua. Nellie is a police widow. Okay, thank them for being on the show for last week. And we want to say hello to our guests tuning in from the West Coast. We have Miss Ernestine Mpingo. You know, in California, they have to tune in mighty early. to get this show.
Mm.
So we want to take a moment to thank them for doing that. So again, there's Ernestine and Pingo, Councilman Farrell. There's my great friend Red. There's Auntie Sa who's tuning in, Kwashi from Los Angeles, Tashmia, Nala, Hakika, and Samantha. All of those are from San Francisco, California. I want to invite you to continue to wash your hands and continue to be safe. Not because the government say so, because it makes sense. It makes sense for you to do that for yourself. What is Queen Mother Speaks? It is a safe space for inspiration and expression. We want to talk to you also about Bonga Dada Bonga, our new platform for women's voices. It is here. You can catch Bonga Dada Bonga every Thursday, 12 noon New York time, 7 p.m. Kenya time. So what is Queen Mother Speaks? Well, we are a community platform for wealthy conversations that matter. We do commentary and insights to raise awareness, to inform, to ignite. We want to educate you. We want you to laugh. We give updates on what it means to expatriate to Africa. We have words on newsworthy events. We get wisdom from the elders, some of which we'll get today, and we do warm, witty dialogue with our guests. Plus, we have a boutique of quotes and inspirational verse. In fact, right now, we're going to go to our breathing session. Now, as you may recall, from the Art of Living Institute, over a year ago, we had a session. And on that session, we learned about breathing. And now Queen Mother incorporates breathing techniques into every one of our shows because we know the importance of breath and we want you to learn how you can use your breath to control incidents, circumstances, emotions, and feelings and things that are going on in your life. So we're going to right now go into our breathing and then we'll go to our meditation moment. So in our breathing, we ask you to breathe in slowly, okay, to the count of 8 through your nose. Breathe in. We're just going to do one practice. You'll breathe in slowly through your nose to the count of 8. Then you'll hold to the count of 8. Hold your breath. Then you'll exhale again through your nose. Okay? So we're going to do maybe 2 of those today. 2, maybe 3. Let's get started. Are you ready to do the breathing exercises? Okay. So right now, we're going to ask you to breathe in slowly to the count of 8. Hold. And release. Okay, we're going to try it one more time. Breathe in slowly to the count of 8. Let's go. Very good. I hope you felt that. And I hope you're learning about the different methods and ways of breathing as well. Very well. So right now we're going to go to our reflective reading, but we want to thank you for breathing with us. And now as we do our reflective reading, we're going to ask you to please tune in and listen with your heart. Our topic for the reading for today is My Relationship with God is Assured. My relationship with God is assured. My relationship with God is assured. We form all kinds of relationships in life. Relationships that make our life better financially, relationships with our family, relationships with our friends, and all of these last for a short time or for a lifetime. We have love relationships that cover all matters of the heart. So now, here is the question. How is your relationship with your God? Do you nourish it with quality? Do you nourish it with well spent time? Can you call and get an immediate response from your God, or are you on your own? Some of us may know that spirit moves in people's lives. Others know, okay, that God is moving in their life. God is moving, living, making decisions, giving advice, showing direction in all areas of our lives. Stay engaged. I know that my relationship with God is closer than air and deeper than space. Ooh, I want to say that again. I know my relationship with God is closer than air and deeper than space. I am assured that God is my supply source. God is the waymaker for all of my needs. Thank you, zeal in me, as me, through me, around me, through the Christ within. And so it is. Thank you so much. Our scripture for today, for it is God who inspires you with the will to do good things which you desire to do. So sometimes you're thinking that the things you do all came from your mind. According to this scripture, you've been inspired by God, and that God gives you that will to do the good things that you desire to do. That is Philippians 2:13. Okay, thank you for that. Let's bring another guest into the studio. She's just tuning in. Let's say hello to her. This is Mary and Stephanie. Yeah, yeah.
Hello,
Yes, we'll be
hello.
hearing from both of them in just a moment. Just a few more advertisements, if you will. Okay. And then we'll be back to you, Stephanie. Okay. So now we want to talk to you about GOTV, Get Out the Vote. GOTV, Get Out the Vote. You can use www.votefromabroad.org, and this way you can request your absentee ballot for the November midterm election, which is on November 8th. Under federal law, local election officials are required to send you an absentee ballot to all overseas voters who requested one in 2022 at least 45 days before the election. That means that you should have received your absentee ballot sometime last week. I did. And if you requested to receive it by mail, if you like to change that, you can receive it another way. But at this late date, you may have to go with what you've already got. All right. They can send it by regular postal mail, but that's kind of taking a chance right now. So make a call into your state and find out what the rules and regulations are for your state. And remember that you can request your ballot from www.votefromabroad.org. Thank you again for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. This is Wednesday, October 12th. Happy birthday, happy Earth Day to all those of you who are enjoying a birthday today. All right, we're still waiting for Nana to get into the studio, but we're going to continue with the program. All right, I'd like to bring up now Miss Stephanie. Miss Stephanie Thubu. Did I say it
Hello,
properly?
everybody. Yes, you did. Absolutely.
Did I
The
say it
last name is
properly? Let me
spelled
tell you about this.
Chubu is spelled T.
Very good. Okay. Okay. Now, this beautiful young lady from New York to Atlanta is a transplant of the Afro Caribbean background, but she spent a lot of time growing up in New York. She is called a cultural creative. She has 50 years of traveling back and forth to Africa. How about that? We don't have many people on the show with a background like that, Stephanie. She has done curation programming for several museums over the years. She has a degree in African art history. She studied fashion design. She has a background in technology. And she's also a student that she says of spiritual law. Stephanie,
Mhm.
thank you
Yes.
for coming and being a guest on the Queen Mother Speak show. God, I got a lot of questions for you. But first, I want to ask, tell us a little bit about being a New York Atlanta transplant.
Well, I would say when I came up, New York was called, the top of the pyramid. It's certainly a wonderful place to have come up, but
Hmm.
it's a wonderful place to emigrate from as well. And I found Atlanta and found my home in the
Okay.
States. However, my home is this continent. Huh?
Yes.
So, yes, it afforded me many opportunities, much diversity, much to learn. And I
Hmm.
hope to bring all of that to bear for the upliftment of our people, of the continent. And so it is.
Very good. Very good. Tell us a little bit about 50 years of travel to Africa. Do you remember your first trip to Africa?
I certainly do. I was
Can you
21.
share that? Okay.
Certainly. I was 21, and it is my belief that my mother brought me to Africa to
Hmm.
divert my attention from a young man I was dating at the time. So,
Hmm.
she did it properly. It worked. And I was very grateful for it. So in 71, we traveled for, I think about 3 weeks through Ghana. And
Hmm.
that was the most life changing experience, of course. I got to see all sorts of ancient rituals, rites of passage,
Hmm.
funerals with the decorated caskets, the carved caskets, um,
Hmm.
weddings, and all sorts of things. And I took 13 rolls of pictures that I could not wait to get home and develop. And
Hmm.
because I did not know how to use my camera, none came out.
Oh no.
Oh,
I was
oh
so
no.
disconsolate. I could not
Oh,
accept that at all. So the
oh.
very next year, I found a way to get back.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay.
mhm,
I had a similar experience. I had taken a lot of film and had been to several types of wonderful rituals taking place
mhm,
also
mhm,
in Ghana. And I had a
mhm,
friend traveling to Europe, okay? And I gave them my film to get it developed in
mm.
Europe. And that was the end of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I think
please
somebody
feel.
saw all of that film and they thought it was blank and they took
Uh-oh.
it. But again, like you were able to go back the next year and do something about it. I
Mm.
lost all of that history. So I've learned from there. I've never given my film over to anyone
Anyone.
else again. Anyone else again. Okay.
Understandable.
Oh, why are
Yes,
you
indeed.
so
And now the way things are with phones and uh, you have your camera built in your phone, you have your even your video built into your phone. It's a better situation today. So we're
Mm-hmm.
not losing. We just have to learn how to edit and use it, isn't it? God bless you. Gesundheit, we love you. Okay, another question for you, Lady Stephanie.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about well, not a little bit. Tell us a lot about 369. What is
Okay.
369?
This is a very interesting project. The 369 or Project 369 is a book, it's a journal that will help you with the information and the techniques needed to reprogram your mind such that you are able to design and direct your life to be what you want it to be and to be the person that you want to be. It uses the principles that were brought forth by Nikola Tesla. Okay,
Uh-huh.
everyone now will recognize Tesla cars, the electric cars.
Mhm.
However, this Nikola Tesla is actually the inventor of alternating current electricity. He was hired by Edison to help Edison improve his direct current apparatus, but they then fell into a bitter rivalry. And in comparison between Tesla and Edison, Edison's direct current apparatus was declared not not as good as the alternating current. Okay. So he actually, Tesla actually lit up or created the City of Light at the World's Fair in 1896 and actually succeeded in lighting up a city in the World's Fair with his alternating current. He also was the inventor of many, many things. Even though Marconi got the credit for inventing the radio, Marconi's invention was based on 17 patents that Tesla had filed. In fighting this legally, Tesla lost, but certainly Marconi could not have gotten the credit for, could not have invented the radio had he not based it on the research and the investigation that Tesla had done. So now Tesla had a deep, deep, deep knowledge of the universe and a deep knowledge of numbers, okay? So these numbers 3, 6, and 9 are very special and have very special properties. It seems that at the beginning of the industrial age, the paradigm shifted, reducing the powers that used to be understood and available for use in numbers, and they reduced them to their mechanical function. Okay. So as you look at numbers, let us just say it like this. As you look at numbers, we start as a one-celled entity. Our birth requires that one cell divides into 2. Those 2 cells divide into 4. Those 4 into 8. Those 8 into 16, then 32, 64, and so on. When you reduce, and by reduce, I mean add any of the digits in a number together, you get a pattern of 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 5, and then it will repeat itself ad infinitum into infinity. And you will not see the 3, the 6, or the 9, because those have very special, very separate properties. Those numbers are called, they're said to represent energy beyond our sense perception. 3 is to represent creation and communication. 6 represents abundance, and 9 represents completion. And for instance, 3 is called the number of the divine. And if you think about how it presents itself in our lives, we're thinking about harmony, wisdom, and understanding, past, present, and future, beginning, middle, and end, body, mind, and soul, thought, word, and deed, the 3 animal kingdoms, animal, vegetable, and mineral, and most important, the Holy Trinity. Okay. If you look at the number 6, the Bible says that God created man on the 6th day. And then if you look at 24 hours in a day, 2 and 4 equals 6. 60 minutes in an hour, 6 and 0 equals 6. 60 seconds in a minute, that again is 6. As for the 9, the speed of light at 186,282 miles per second, when you add those numbers, that will reduce to a 9. The diameter of the sun, the diameter of the moon, the diameter of the earth, all reduced to 9. The seconds in an hour, 3,600. The seconds in a day, 86,400. The seconds in a week, a month, and a year, all reduced to a 9. The minutes in a day, 1,440. The minutes in a week, a month, and a year, all reduced to 9. And there are 9 explained planets in our solar system. In terms of a circle is 360 degrees. 3 and 6 equal 9. If you take a half a circle, that's 180 degrees, again a 9. If you take that by half, that's 45 degrees. that is also a 9. So these special properties in these numbers are used. Nikola Tesla found them to be useful in creation. And this book, Project 369, is written by a man by the name of David Kanesi, using the information that Nikola Tesla found and put together. And what you do is, how you use it is, you first decide what you want. We're going to start by deciding on small things and one thing at a time, because that's the best way to show you that it will be working. You will observe your success. And then once you do one and succeed at one, you proceed. And what you do is you write what you want in the present tense. Okay. And there's a reason for that.
Okay.
In the present tense, meaning I have a job I love. I am 20 pounds lighter. I am healed of disease. And you write that 3 times in the morning.
Okay.
You write that 6 times in the afternoon. And you write that 9 times in the evening. And you do this consistently until you experience the manifestation of your goal. Okay. Why? What will make this work? There are things that have to make this work. It is magical, but it's not magic. It needs a foundation. And these are the things that will provide that foundation for you to see success. First thing you need is faith. Faith, defined as assurance of things hoped for, conviction of things unseen, right? When we arrive in this world, unable to communicate our needs, our wants, or our fears, we arrive to people, in most cases, who provide all that and more without our asking. Yes? I'm not sure if that's faith, because I do not yet speak newborn, but it seems like a pretty good example of what faith is. Okay?
Okay.
You are going to need faith to have this, to believe that it's going to happen, which brings you to the second point. Belief. Okay. Abraham Hicks defines belief as a thought you just keep thinking. Okay. So as you believe, you're going to see outpictured what it is that you believe. Okay. For instance, do you believe we live in a friendly universe? One where you understand that the Creator who loved you into existence sees you, knows you, is attentive to your needs, and supportive of your growth? Or do you believe you live in a universe that's a veil of tears? Whichever it is, you're going to be correct, because that is what the universe will show you. All right. You are, after all, a small portion of the God, the one who sent forth to experience itself as you. Okay. You're going to have to believe in the power of your words and your thoughts. And why does it matter? The universe is characterized as a cosmic copy machine. So what you put out will be returned to you. As in, if you say, I want a job, I want a man, I want a car, you will have returned that want of those things. Expressing need, I need this or I need that, will keep you in need. The universe is impersonal. It doesn't care what you say. It wants to know what you are creating. If you say, I will have X, Y, or Z, that will push the manifestation of your goals into the unforeseeable future, because it will be coming, but it's not here now. So you would phrase it in I have, in faith that even though you don't see it, it is so, and it will come to you. Self-talk is important. As you speak to yourself, you are, in terms of your inner dialogue, you are, as I like to say, like an actor who is rehearsing for a role. as you are speaking to yourself, what you rehearse in your mind, not to anyone else, in your mind, what you rehearse most of the time is the part that you will get to play. It will outpicture and you will get to play that part. So as you're saying to yourself, oh, that was stupid. I always do that dumb thing. I can never get this right. I'm not good in math. Why do I always do this? These words are forming your beliefs, and those beliefs are forming your experience. I'll give you an example. You remember when the former guy who lived in the White House in the United States, when he
Oh,
was campaigning.
you mean the orange man?
Okay, the orange man, Rumpty Dump, whatever
Okay.
you want to call him, except his name. When he was campaigning, he claimed very confidently that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight, and his followers would accept it and not leave him. And are we not seeing the outpicturing of that very, very confident statement? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It is the confidence of his statement that we are seeing. So I would advise you to, as you become conscious of how you think, how you speak to yourself, how you think about yourself, you treat yourself like you would treat your bestie who you dearly, dearly love. There is no shame, no harm. When you see these things happening, when you hear yourself making a statement that you find is counterproductive to your benefit, just treat it like your bestie. Oh, hun, that was what we used to be. We don't do that anymore. You know, we love us. We love you. You are wonderful. You have everything that God will want you to have. Okay? The
Okay.
last thing you need is gratitude. You need gratitude because it's already done. You need to live in the way of the wish fulfilled with full sensory ability. You know, whatever it is, if it's that car, if I have a new Tesla car, feel yourself in the leather, smell the aroma of the car, you know, hear, well, with an electric car, you don't hear much, but you understand what I'm saying. Make your eyes look out of the window, whatever it is. If it's the man, feel the arms, smell the lovely cologne, accept the gifts, do everything you can to experience in full sensory sense in all ways how this is appearing in your life. And as you train your vibration to gratitude, you are training your vibration upward to the level where all of your good is awaiting you. Similarly, if you care to train your vibration downward to anger, fear, regret, you will only get to experience things that vibrate on that level. Okay, so the task is to keep yourself in gratitude. Why? Because you're here, because you're breathing, because you are still alive, because you still have an opportunity. Time hasn't stopped yet. So you still have an opportunity to learn better and do better. And for that, you need to be grateful. If you're smelling air, if you're feeling the sunshine, if there's rain, if there's water, if you have a roof, for as many reasons as you can divine, you be grateful for. And then in closing, my prayer, my hope for you all is that your realization of the full scope of your innate power to direct, design your earth experience, and that you will join the global community of cultural creatives committed to the equality of blessings for all people, all creatures, and our beloved planet. And so it is.
What a teaching. Listen, I don't know if you've been seeing the comments that have been coming in. I've been doing my best to put them up on the board, but wow, you've gotten quite a few guests who've been in the studio today. In fact, Rakaya is tuning in to say to you, Ashe, we will
Oh,
be having Rakaya on the Queen Mother Speak show coming up in the very, very near future, but I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to tell you everything about it. Tune in to find out what it's all about. Stephanie, this has
yeah.
been, it's wonderful. And when I
I'm
found
grateful.
out about this book, 369, when I found out about this wonderful book and started reading it, this is exactly what she's talking about. In fact, she brought me this book as a gift. She happens to be right here in Nairobi, Kenya. Girlfriend wanted to come to the land of paradise on earth, and she is here.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna rump and rave and rave and rant and have a very, very, very good time in doing so. Thank you again for coming to the Queen Mother Speak show. We'll have you
My
on
pleasure.
too again and again. We've got a message here from our co-host. Let's see. All right.
Ah,
She's telling us about Bonga Dada Bonga. We'll come back and talk about that a little later. But right now, I'd like to talk about our next guest, who is Miss Mary Cordelia. Mary Cordelia. Now, by training, this woman is what we call a somatic therapist and
mm,
empowerment coach. But you know what? Those words don't begin to describe what you get from being with Mary and talking to Mary. So we're going to bring her on in just a moment. She's done a lot of different programs, but recently she created something called Blissipline.
mm.
Blissipline. Say that with me. Bliss.
Blissipline.
Bliss. If that's
Discipline.
you just say Blissipline. So she's going to tell us what Blissipline is all about. And I want you to know that this Blissipline program is really about finding your own happiness within. Can you get to that? Can you take that in? Finding your own happiness within. So when I learned about Mary's work and what Mary was doing, I like to share good things, whether it's candy. Now, if it's not for man, that's another story. But if it's candy, if it's
There's
food,
limits to everything, right?
yes, enough of everything for all of us. But so when I heard about Mary's program, I wanted her to come on Queen Mother Speaks and on Bonga Dada Bonga so that she can share with you this joy that you can get to from within. This is as a result of her doing so much work over so many years. But let me not tell her story. Let's have Mary tell us her story. Welcome again to Queen Mother Speaks. This is
Thank you.
session 3 of 4 sessions that she'll be doing, but we might have to stretch it to 5, Mary, because I found out that some of the people that we were offering the program to, they didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let me
So if you
speak to
don't
that part
mind,
first then.
yeah. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go back and
For
maybe do
sure.
an extra program so we don't miss out on
Awesome.
anything. Mary, over to you.
All right, beautiful. Well, I'm really honored to come in on, excuse my voice, I have a little cold. That was me coughing earlier. I forgot to mute myself. But so it was really wonderful to come in on the coattails of that wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. This speaking our truth into existence is so powerful. And one of the reasons, actually probably the reason I founded Blissipline, I founded it actually by accident. I put quotes around that because you know how that stuff goes. On March 14th, 2015, which, if you guys are into numbers, is 3.1415, which is the first of pi. And I always loved Pi Day because I'm a geek, but I didn't realize I did it on the 1 year in my human life that would be the
Wow.
next 2 digits. And
Wow.
I didn't realize until several years later. I just happened to be looking at the group and saying, when did I found this? And I looked, I was like, oh my gosh. So life is full of these synchronicities. That was actually the word Carl Jung coined for it. So we've had that word for a real long time, synchronicities, the way things kind of exist in a co-creative relationship with life. And so to come in on the coattails of your talk was so helpful. So thank you. It's beautiful. So let me jump right to this thing that Queen Mother mentioned. So we created a little, well, I created this thing, which is a kind of summary of Blissipline condensed into 7 practical lessons,
Mm.
which was about as small as I could get it. And what it is there's 7 videos, and then there's this strong encouragement to practice. And the way I've currently set it up is I've actually made it so that it's designed to work over 21 days. So you have the 7 videos plus 3 days of practice. So 7 threes are 21. There's a 3 there, right? And so what we did, the Queen Mother and I, is we created this special free version that we want to share with people. And so I created it as a free trial, but I want to be absolutely clear. Even if you decide to continue it for money, there's a total scholarship, because it is absolutely essential to me to make this available to people. But I also know that if it's just free, almost no one takes advantage of it. There's actually, it's just not helpful to people to make it free. So you got to put a little bit of oomph behind it. So that's what we've created. And we'll share that URL with you. You can go, you can start today. And what it is you'll be entered into a group where all the videos are there. You can give it a try. You can ask questions. If you tag, it's on Facebook. If you tag me, I will reply personally. When it's me typing, it's me. And so this is a way for people to ease into Blissipline. And so let me just tell you that the reason I started the group on 3.5 is because I heard from a teacher, just do this for 30 days and it'll transform. And the thing I was trying to do was wake up in the morning and choose my focus as a positive, life-affirming welcoming of things, like attracting good focus. And so I think, well, so March must have been January. So I started on January 1 and I was like, I'm going to do it. And I had a little thing to keep track of it with. And after 1 month, I realized I'd been able to do it exactly 0 times. Like life just zoomed in and took over, and I was caught in the thing, or I got on my phone, I talked about emails, or I worried about money, or God knows, I lost it every day. And I was like, whoa. And I was already pretty happy, quite successful, blah, blah, blah. I was like, wow, okay, so I'm going to try again. So I tried for a 2nd month. And this time I put all these little reminders on my bedside table. So, I'm sleeping in bed and I'd open my eyes and there they'd be. Like there's no chance I could miss it. And with all this effort, I managed to do it something like, I don't know what the number was. It was a single digit, like 6 or 7. So in a month, and I was like, wow, if this is so challenging for me to do what I now understand is overcome decades of momentum. And how hard must it be for others? And I thought, I'm going to start a group. And so I started the Blissipline group, and I invited people to join me and just practice being happy. And the group grew to 2,000 in like a month. It was really wild. I was just like, and then it stayed there. We stayed together practicing. It increases, but slower. But there was this huge burst of energy. And so we've been practicing together, and I will tell you, I've gotten very, very good at being happy. But one of the things I have discovered along the way is really hard stuff happens continually in life. I mean, if nothing else, we're all going to die, and everyone we love is, and this is something we're all going to go through. And on the way there, other stuff's going to happen. So the fact of life just happens. It's not a terrible thing. Right. It's just what is. And so we learn to weather things, and on the way, small things like I have a cold right now. I can make this cold mean whatever I want it to mean. I can just have a cold and I can be happy with the cold. I can be happy even though. But what I discovered was this, and this is where the key really lies, I think, in my understanding, that we have habits of thought that are very firmly ingrained. They're so habitual, we don't even notice them. And so we have habits of thought, and then these thoughts, each thought, every single one, generates a little bit of feeling. And each little bit of feeling generates a little more momentum on the habit. And so we develop momentum over time, and then the thoughts are almost unstoppable. I have a neighbor who I love very much, but I ran into the other day, and we only had about a few minutes. We were both heading in different directions. Within that time, this person had complained about 4 things in his life. 4 things, stupid little things. One was getting forms in for some government, whatever. And this was how he chose to spend the time we were together. And this is the example of what I want to say. He had to do the forms, sure, but he brought the forms into our time together, which means the only thing our time was full of was complaint. And that was completely unnecessary. I had nothing to do with those forms. It's just a habit of complaining. And it's okay to complain, for sure, because it helps us sometimes figure out what to do next. But to have a habit of complaining where you bring your annoying little petty trouble of filling out your government forms in the morning into a little precious moment where you're encountering someone else. We were in a beautiful place. It was sunny. He managed to complain about the temperature. It's the fall and it was sunny. I'm like, how do you complain about the temperature?
Wow.
And he's a lovely person, but he has a momentum of complaining. And he does not know yet. If he sticks around with me long enough, I guess probably I'll share that. He does not know yet that this is generating unhappiness for him. He doesn't know it, but it is. And so what happens is we begin to see our own power simply. We have lots of power, but this is the simplest way I've been able to get it. In terms of right here, right now, our thoughts and our feelings and this momentum building. And so we practice it. Like we can get up in the morning. Excuse me. One of the other things that I did was I partnered with my friend Ramona, and we started doing daily phone calls. This was back then. We started doing daily phone calls Monday through Saturday. We don't live anywhere near one another. Had actually never met in person at that point. We were just friends we'd met online. And every morning we would do some affirming practice for like 5 minutes each day. Well, you know what? We still do those phone calls. In fact, technically that's just doing it right now. We have them at 10 a.m. my time. And so I had to message her, hey, I can't do the call today. So we do them unless there's a very specific, like today thing that's literally scheduled in that time. We do not schedule things in that time, or we reschedule. And so it has trained me with a partner, with a loving witness, with a compassionate viewer to do things that were hard for me. So this is why I call it Blissipline. There's a discipline in it. And the discipline is that I choose my perspective. I choose my perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it, Mary. We're still listening.
Yay. Okay. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about that if you like. Like all the people I know, I've done a million things to try and learn, and I'm always learning. Taking another course right now called the Shame Clinic. I'm learning tons about shame and how it operates in our lives. Really helpful. And so one of these courses I took, this trainer told this story about how the week before he had been trying to just lay an electrical line in his backyard from one thing to another, a shed to another. And he wanted to put it like in a little PVC pipe and down in the ground a little bit. So he dug a little trench and he had the pipe and he was trying to feed the cord through. And anyway, he didn't know what he was doing, and he was doing a really boneheaded way, couldn't get the cord through. And he's running back and forth. And then it starts raining. And of course, he's dug it all up. So it's all mud. So he's going back and forth in the rain, and he's getting all frustrated and annoyed trying to get this cord to go through the pipe. And suddenly he looks down and he sees his dog, and his dog is with him. And every time he goes to one end of the pipe, goes down, goes, and then every time he goes to the end of the pipe, the dog's like, and he looked down, he looked at the dog, and the dog's having a blast, and he's having a terrible time. And he said, I choose the dog perspective.
Hey.
I choose to see this as fun. And excuse me, when he said that, I realized we don't think it's a choice. We think, oh God, it's raining and the pipe isn't working. I'm such an idiot. I did it all wrong. Ugh. We think that's factual. The only thing that's factual is it's raining and you don't know how to do it. Okay.
Well,
that's
you
right.
know? So I'm not saying I want to take a little moment to address two things: gaslighting and toxic positivity. Because I am not saying that suffering doesn't happen. And I am not saying that you should not feel your suffering, because that's the opposite. And actually remember I was mentioning the feelings piece. We have a whole focus on feelings because we've got to learn to honor our feelings. We must. If we don't, they'll just take over. So you honor them or they'll control you, so it is not that we don't have suffering, and it's not that we don't honor our suffering, and it's not that we don't speak our suffering.
Mm.
Mhm.
Just that we begin to learn the skills to free ourselves from its constant, relentless control of our lives.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So suffering is real. Very important that we
Mm.
And suffering has things to teach us,
yes,
you know,
absolutely.
that we need to be grateful to learn.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
That's
They
right. When we are
step.
grateful, we learn it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You know, one of the reasons I call it Blissipline is what became clear to me, and this was also from Abraham Hicks working too, so it's nice to hear you mention them.
Oh, okay.
Our delight is our joy, our well-being is intricately what are connected to creating what we want, to being
Yes.
who we want. It's
Yes.
it when, like you mentioned, gratitude will allow you to perceive things differently, and it will. Appreciation will allow you to perceive things differently. um, Soothing will allow you. This is one thing I saw with my clients about a million times. They'd be
Mhm.
all spun out about something. We'd be talking
Mhm.
about it. And I'd say, all right, let's come back to the body. And they'd be like, ah, let's come back to the body. Put your feet on the floor. Let's just let the nervous system settle, because until it settles, we don't have full access to the prefrontal cortex in the brain. You know, use all the good neuroscience to get them to believe me. And then as they settled, you know, we'd start to really say, okay, so what are you noticing, feeling, blah, blah, blah. As they quieted and got back in touch with what they were actually experiencing instead of complaining about the situation out there, suddenly they would go, oh, wait. And there would be a solution arising in their mind. And it was not going to arise until that moment. They
Wow.
had
Yes.
to align
Wow.
themselves with well-being, which is the context for the solution.
Yes.
So,
Mm.
it's really so empowerment and pleasure go hand in hand. It's really hooray. Like, what a nice system.
Mm. This is so wonderful. And ladies, this is what the Queen Mother Speaks show is all about. Being able to speak this way and to
Excuse
people
me.
listening. And I want to take a moment and thank all. Our chat room is so active. It's hard for me to listen to what's happening on the show and also be responding to people in the chat room. But thank you so much for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. We're going to ask you to continue to share, to comment and like. Share, comment, and like. Share, comment, and like, so that we'll know that you like what's going on, like you're doing today. You're just affirming that this is the kind of work, these are the types of things that you want to see and hear on the Queen Mother Speak show. I want to take a moment now and just speak about the Ahadi pads. You've heard me speak about them before.
Yes.
This is a
Mhm.
reusable sanitary pad. And Queen Mother Speaks has a project to do 1,500 pads in about 4 African villages, some of which are in Kenya, others are in Ghana, and in Namibia. So inside of this little pouch is 4 sanitary pads that are, in fact, they're very reusable. And there's 4 in the pack for the girls to use, and we're told that they can last for about a year. So
Queen
we're
Mother,
asking you to do this.
please express to your listeners
Yes.
why these are so necessary for these young women, please.
Okay. Well, as you all know, male or female, every month a woman has her cycle. And usually when you have that cycle, it could last from a few days to a week, and in some cases, maybe even longer than a week. In Africa, when the young girls are on their cycle and they don't have a pad, guess what? They have to miss school. They do miss school. And if you miss too many days of school, what happens?
Bail out,
You
drop out, don't
bail out,
succeed.
drop out, leave school. And so we have a lot of young ladies who don't get to stay in school because they don't have a pad. And so
And
Queen
very
Mother is
frankly,
taking this on. Bart, go ahead.
to jump in, very frankly, disposables that we use here so much are not
Yes.
sustainable. They're not sustainable. They're creating
Mhm,
junk in the for the climate, for the environment.
mhm,
And
mhm.
So this is a way, and in the States, even though we have ready access to disposable, there's a growing trend of people realizing in order to be sustainable, this is a better way to handle it. Okay?
It is
Yes,
indeed. It is indeed.
yes. So it's very important that this get to these young women in need.
Right. In order for it to get to them, we need your help to do that. And the way you
Mhm.
can help us to do that is by making a donation of 10 US dollars or 1,000 Kenya shillings. 10 US dollars or 1,000 Kenya shilling. And for those of you abroad, you can send it to Dasha King at Gmail. Go to PayPal and put in dashaking at gmail.com, and your $10 will come to us. Okay. And if you want to do this in Kenya, then let me give you the what we call the M-Pesa number. Just one moment. Okay, coming at you right now. Here is the M-Pesa number, and you can take this number and pay locally. 10 US, 1,000 Kenya shillings. Now listen, let me just be clear with you. I would love it while Stephanie is here if we're able to go up to the village and make a distribution of the pads. You get 4 of these pads and 2 pair of underwear for 10 US dollars or 1,000 Kenya shillings. Will you help
And you
us to
said
make
they
that
last a year.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, you said they last a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're told by
Mm-hmm.
the manufacturers, which is a local company, that these 4 pads, each time you use, you wash. Each time you use, you wash. Each time you use, you wash. And you'll get 4 pads and 2 pair of panties. And the pads will last you up to 1 year, just $10. I'd love to take Stephanie up to Maasai Land,
And I'd
and
love to go.
you'd love to go. So will you make a plea for us, asking them to give us $10 or 1,000 shillings?
Okay, how much is a cup of Starbucks? Hmm? You can't
I don't know.
you can't get a sandwich for $10.
All
Okay?
right.
Spare just that tiny bit of the extraordinary comfort that we enjoy to help someone for a year,
Mm,
to be
yep.
able not to miss classes, to be able to get the education that they need to succeed, to be able to progress. Huh? This is the smallest. I wouldn't even call it a sacrifice. I can do
Hmm.
without a cup of Starbucks and the
Yes.
donut,
Yes, we
okay,
can.
to help
Yes, we
someone
can.
for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So $10,
Yeah.
I would say $20 is not too much to send. Okay, $20 is
Oh,
not too much to
we'd
ask
be
for.
so grateful. We'd
You
be so
know,
grateful. And the village here in Kenya, the Sekonandi village that we want to go to here, I think there's about I think there's like 217 girls
mm, mm,
between the ages of like 10 and 18 in
mm-hmm.
this one village alone, Sekonandi village, which is a village that we've adopted. And I want to take Stephanie there, and I'd like for us to do the pads distribution while she's here. She'll be here for a few more weeks. Ha ha ha. A few more weeks. Ha 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 ha. Ha. We'll tell you about that later. We'll talk about that later, but please give us donations so we can. And by the way, when we do this, we're going to videotape the whole thing. So we're going
Mm-hmm.
to take you there. You're going to go there with us. You're going to get a chance to meet the young girls. You're going to get a chance to talk to the young ladies. All right. Find out what grade they're in. Find out what they want to do. Who do they want to be? So let's give that experience in the village with Stephanie while she's here. And all it takes from you is 10 US dollars or 1,000 Kenya shillings, or as Stephanie has said, 20 US dollars and 2,000 Kenya shillings. We're going to put the address up here once again for you if you're sending us funds from abroad through PayPal. DashaKing at gmail.com. DashaKing at gmail.com. And for those of you right here in Kenya, the M-Pesa number 0796 509-965-0796. 509-965. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so we're going to ask you to please continue to tune in to Queen Mother Speaks every Wednesday, live at 10 a.m. New York time and 5 p.m. Kenya time. I want to give a special shout out to Nana Adeziwa, our co-host for Queen Mother Speaks. She is inside of the chat room right now, and she's answering questions and she's responding to your request in the chat room. Thank you, Nana. For whatever reason, sometimes I think it's just me, but when I'm finding out that Africa is not the only place that gets a loss of power. She's in the United States of America, and for whatever reason, she's having issues getting in. So I'm not going to clap my hands for that, but I am going to say thank you, thank you, thank you for continuing tuning in. All right, on our show for next week, we will have Miss Mary Cordelia again with the Blissipline workshop. She's going to go in a little deeper next time and talk to us a little bit more about it. And we're also expecting Miss Sherry Jackson from Atlanta, Georgia, with the Railroad to Freedom. More about that through the week. Of course, you'll be getting your advertisements about that as well. So be sure to tune in next week to Queen Mother Speaks. We want to give our shout out and thank you credits to our Wakanda crowns from the Wilborn Sisters Designs. Our jewelry is from the village of Achiavi Glema in the Volta region of Ghana. Fashions is by Ghana designers, USA and Kenya designers. This one I think I bought from somewhere like Target. So this is not a designer piece, but Queen Mother loves to wear her designer outfits. I want to give a shout out to Lady Mo, a shout out to Tajmia, and hello, baby Nyla. Once again, my niece Kaya, who is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Kaya. I also want to say hello to my brother, Floyd King Jr. He's made his, as my husband would say, he's made his transition up to glory. But his birthday is on October 11th. Going back to our credits, we want to once again thank our host, Queen Mother of Queen Mother Speaks, co-host Nana Efua Adezawa, also known as Terry Kemp, the Talila Report with Mrs. Elizabeth Myers, the Sankofa Elders, Professors Al Gaskin and Professor Willie Butler, Youth in Africa, which is Africa's talent. The Art of Living is our expert facilitators with our breathing exercise. And our guest in the studio today, thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Mary. And I thank all of you, too, for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. To Queen Mother Speaks. We got another guest that have something they want to say here? All right. She says she wished the method was available back when. Well, looking into the future, we are the future, and we hold the keys to the future. So for those of you still tuning in, once again, here's the PayPal link, PayPal, dashaking@gmail.com. We're going to get ready to do our virtual kiss and end the show for today. And the way that happens, Stephanie, is we start out by throwing a kiss with our left hand. We're going to do it together. Then we throw a kiss with our right hand. Then we throw a kiss with both hands.
Let's do it.
Are we ready? Let's do it.
Ready. Let's do
it.
Mwah. Mwah.
I love this. Okay, here we go. Thank you. This is Queen Mother Speaks every Wednesday, every week, live at 10 a.m. New York time, 5 p.m. Kenya time. Stay tuned. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Like, comment, and share. Bye for today. Thank you.